welcome to Friday Nights with Emma. Cheers everybody, hope everybody's got a drink, hope everybody's warm where they are. There's been lots of snow around, thankfully. Not here. I hate snow. So yeah, we've been fine. Just a little bit of frost. You can see Link's with us again tonight. He's already in place. Yeah, everybody who missed him this week. So just give everybody a minute or two to join. Give us a little thumbs up, hearts. Say hi to Mikey. Mikey's behind camera tonight. Say hi, Mikey.
Hello.
So yeah. But this is what I'll be talking about tonight. While we're waiting, I'm going to do a little bit more sewing on. Link, come on, buddy. Okay, I just have to work around.
Your Sarah's watching.
Oh, hello, Sarah.
Terry.
Hi, Terry.
Sarah.
Hi, Sarah.
Ven.
Ven? Hi, Ven.
Christine.
Hi, Christine.
Joan.
Hi, Joan.
Jackie.
Hi, Jackie.
Cheryl.
Hi, Cheryl.
Lori.
Hi, Laurie. Hi, Laurie.
Sandra.
Hi, Sandra. Ooh,
Ross.
Hi, Ross.
Saying it's very cold in Derbyshire.
Yeah.
Diana.
Is it snow?
Ellen.
Oh, hi, Diana. Hi, Ellen.
Oh, so excuse me. Eileen from
Eileen.
Ireland.
Oh.
Sharon.
Hi, Sharon.
Sheila.
Hi, Sheila.
Claire.
Hi, Claire.
Diamond.
Hi, Diamond. Hi, Shirley.
Sandy.
Hi, Sandy.
Judith.
Hi, Judith.
Susan.
Hi, Susan.
Dawn.
Oh, hi, Dawn.
Barbara.
Hi, Barbara. Yeah, so I thought I'd just take some time. I've got one more little bit to sew. I realised I actually have less hexes done than I thought. So, while I am getting my hexes done, I might have to fill in some weeks. It won't be every week a coat project.
Kath from Hampshire.
Oh, hi, Kath.
It's cold in Hampshire.
Yeah.
Francis.
Hi, Francis.
Cheryl.
Hi, Cheryl. Yeah, so I thought I'd take a minute just to get caught up on hexes. I'll show you what I've been doing.
And your Sarah says it's that cold. I'm wearing the scarf you made her.
Aw, yay! One day you'll have mittens to match.
That's if one day we can leave our homes. Lorraine.
Oh, hi, Lorraine.
Cold in Kent.
Oh, yeah.
Lorraine. I think I said Lorraine, but anyway,
Yeah,
Lorraine, cold in Kent.
Yeah.
Kate.
Hi, Kate.
Annette.
Hi, Annette.
Sandra.
Hi, Sandra.
Lorraine is watching us in the car while hubby is driving.
Oh, yay.
Anne.
Hi, hubby.
Elizabeth.
Drive safe.
Claire.
Hi, Elizabeth. Hi, Claire.
It's -8 degrees in Scotland, according to Claire.
Wow. Don't miss those days.
Caroline.
Oh, hi, Caroline.
And Diana says the solution to your nails being done as discussed on Sewing Street.
Oh.
Don't know what that means.
Yeah. Sarah's
Hillary.
not going to be happy with me, but I told Michael I'm going to enlist him. We're going to try and fill in the gaps until I can see Sarah again.
Jackie says she has a hexagon die if you need it.
Oh, I've got a little shape. Yeah, I've got a little acrylic shape. And yeah, sorry, don't watch this. Do as I say, not as I do. Don't do this.
Carol says it's freezing in Bristol. Thank goodness for lap quilts.
Oh, yes. Yeah, I've been living under mine this week, I have to tell you.
And
so that's good.
Diana says put your hands through the letterbox. And Kath says it was lovely to see you on Sewing Street with John Scott.
John, yeah, that was really fun. Get to go again in a couple of weeks.
And Valerie.
Twice as much. Oh, hi, Valerie. So, right. This is the pattern that I'll be using. And when I got it, now that I've got it, they're actually calling it a cardigan, which makes sense because it's not as structured as a coat. So this is the pattern. This is the name of it. So it's a Simplicity, that's the brand. I'm sorry if I'm teaching you to suck eggs. I'm just figured I would walk through everything in case somebody's never used a pattern before in their lives.
Karen and Jeanette. Janet.
Oh, hi, Janet. And then these are the sizes it will make. So sometimes it only goes up to a certain size, and then you've got to get the same pattern, but the sizes that go up. And then these are all the variations of the coat that you can make, or the cardigan. And this is the one that I'm going to do, because I really like the idea of a waterfall.
Tina says, bought the pattern, so excited. We'll
Yay.
be will be the first clothing that she has made.
Oh, yay. Yeah. Well, this one, I have to admit, it does look relatively simple. So, and that's what I was looking for earlier, actually. So if you turn it around, it tells you, at the top flap here, it tells you what all the sizes are that it makes and the measurements that it makes, that it fits, basically. So I was hoping that it would tell me, because sometimes like on knitting patterns it will tell you the actual size of the garment. So it will tell you the body measurements that it will fit, but then it will also tell you the actual sizes of the garment. But it doesn't in this case. The only thing it tells you is the finished length, which I might adjust because I'm short. Link, really? Behave. So you decide which size you want to make based on the body measurements that it gives. Let's see, what else does it tell you? Oh, it tells you, it'll give you suggestions of fabrics to use. Obviously I'm ignoring this completely because I'm going to do a quilted one. But this is all the fabric choices that it suggests. And then also, depending on the style that you want. So A and B refers to this style, so the one with the collar, whether it's long or short. So A and that's B, even though it doesn't have it written there. Oh, it does. I just didn't see it. Okay. And then C and D, I'm going to be making pattern C. So it will tell you for A and B, these are also what could work, and then for C and D versions, you could also make it in a sweater knit.
Kathleen says sometimes it gives the garment measurements on the pattern piece.
Okay, yeah, see, I looked at that. I had a sneak peek, but the actual pattern piece. I'll have to have a look because I don't know if I saw that. We'll have a look because I'm going to open it. Let's see. Was there anything else I was going to say about this? Oh yes. Also, it gives you your yardage on the back of the pattern. So depending on the size that you want to make, it tells you how much fabric you need and whether you're using, a 40-inch wide fabric, which is 115 centimetres roughly, or 150 centimetres, which is about 60 inches wide. A lot of clothing fabric comes in 60 inches wide, so that's why they have both. So depending on the width of your fabric, that's how much yardage you'll need. And these are in meters.
And Carol also says, have you checked the actual pattern sheets for the finished size measurements? There is often a table printed on one of them.
I've checked so I'll open it up. This is what you get. You get some instructions. So these ones are the Spanish version, because it's an American pattern. These are the English ones. Maybe some eagle-eyed viewer will be able to see, but I haven't seen any.
Lorna is watching.
Oh, hi Lorna. So, these are, again, it shows you the versions that you can make. And then these are the pattern pieces. Now, depending on the version you're going to make, you won't need all of the pattern pieces. So, if you're making version A or B, you're going to need this piece, the pocket pieces, the back, the interfacing for the collar facing bit, and then the sleeve. But for me, because it tells you all of this right here, it tells you what all the pieces are and which letters rather they correspond to, which version. So I am going to be doing version C. So I am going to need the back, the pocket, although I'm not going to use a lining because my pocket is going to be lined itself. So the pocket, the back, the sleeve, and this is the front for the C version.
And Diamond says you're talking metric again.
Yeah.
Us Oldens can't cope.
Yeah.
She has the pattern though.
Okay. Yes, I really like it. And this isn't the only pattern you can do this way. There's a lot of different coat patterns. I think I saw somebody else said, is it grain line? Makes a nice coat or cardigan pattern. But yeah. And then it tells you, it's a little bit like reading a map. So it tells you what all the symbols mean, just like on a map would.
Tess asks, what does it mean by nap?
Oh, nap. Yes. Nap is, do I have anything with nap? Nap is, if you imagine like a velvet fabric or a fur fabric that has that fuzzy on it, and like with velvet, if you push the velvet one way, it lays really nice and flat and smooth, and if you brush it up the other way, it kind of sticks up, and sometimes it looks a little different colour. That's what they mean by nap. So if you're using a fabric that has that, if you're going to make this out of velvet, for instance, you'd want to make sure that that nap runs the same way on all of the pieces. Think of it a little bit as like having a directional fabric. You want your fabric pieces, your direction, your pattern to all go the same way. And it's the same with the nap. Otherwise, if you have one side of your coat that the nap goes down and the other side it goes up, it's going to look funny. And the same with the back and the sleeves. So you want to make sure it runs in the same direction.
Christine is watching.
Oh, hi, Christine.
And Diamond says, Link surely has nap.
Yes.
And
Monty does not, however. His fur goes whichever way you want it to go.
Claudia is watching, wishing us all a Happy New Year.
Happy New Year, yes, Happy New Year.
Tess says, thank you.
Right, seam allowances for most fabric patterns like this. So yeah, that use wovens basically, it is always 5/8 of an inch. So yeah, just over half an inch.
Judy is watching.
And usually most sewing machines have the 5/8 line on the throat plate, so it's really easy to see. So it's quite a big seam allowance, especially if you're used to quilting. That seems a really big seam allowance, but that's correct. Let's see, what else do we need to do? Oh, laying out. So if we go to the layout.
Elizabeth asked, are you doing a totally cut an inch over the cut line for adjustments is usually a good idea?
Yeah. It's you won't like it because it's French. It's pronounced toile. So yeah. So what that is, what a toile is, just like you said, usually you make it's called a mock-up, I guess you can call it, or a dry run, or whatever you want to call it. But it is when you make up the pattern itself in like a calico or a muslin, something that is much cheaper fabric, but something that is a similar weight, so that you can actually see what the fit is going to be like before you cut into your very nice fabric. I'm going to wing it. I don't think I'm going to do that. Doing a toile is the very correct professional way. And now that you've said it, I might think about it, but we'll see. Because I'm using a quilted fabric, yeah, I do want to make sure I get my measurements correct. There will be a little bit of adjustment that I can do, but I've got a coat, which I've got mine here. What I'll do is when I open up the pattern, I'm going to measure the pattern so that I can actually measure like how wide the shoulders are going to be, how big it's going to be under the arms, so that I have something to compare it to. Because I like the way this coat fits, and I want it to be relatively similar along the top.
Katie is watching.
Who?
Katie.
Oh, hi, Katie. Right. Cutting out. Now, the way that I'm going to do it is going to be different because I'm quilting, so I'm going to make my quilted parts to fit my pattern pieces.
Your brother is watching.
Oh, hi, Simon. But if you were laying it out of a piece of yardage that you bought to make it, it tells you exactly how to lay everything out. Now, it can be a little bit confusing, but again, treat it like reading a map, really. So if you're making cardigan version A, depending on, again, the width of your fabric, this is how you lay them out. And so it tells you where the fold is. So you put selvages together, lay it on the fold. This one looks like it is only folded over up to this point, because that's the back, because you want 2 pieces of the back that are mirror image to each other. 2 of the sleeves, which are exactly the same, so that's a single layer right there. So the back is cut on the fold, so that's double thickness, and these are both single thickness. And then the arrow that you see along there, that is where you position it along the grain line. That means that piece must be cut with that arrow going along the grain line. So you won't want to put it at a catty corner so it goes across the bias. You want to make sure they all line up like that.
Diamond asks, are you going to interface all the piecing that you're using and join them?
No. No. I am going to, let me open up the pattern. Let me see what else there is. Because we'll get to this bit when it actually put it together, when I start putting it together. But basically with this part of the pattern, there's this instruction, and that's a Spanish one, and there's a second one. What I would do before you even start is just look through and read all the instructions so that you understand what's going to happen when, basically. Because they are very thorough, and the pictorials are very good. Sometimes I'll read through it, and when we go to actually making it, if there's anything that stands out that seems like it's a special technique, I will go over it. Like sometimes if you've got facing, it tells you to undersew or understitch the facing, and I've had to Google that before. I'm like, what the? Because it doesn't always show you how to do it, but it's a way of stitching really close to your seam on the facing so that the facing lays nice and flat underneath your clothing.
Christine says, years ago we had to make a pair of velvet curtains for a theater, and one of our teams somehow managed to get the panel of the curtain upside down. Ooh. And the color looked completely different. Yeah. It took her ages to unpick the panel. This was way before unpickers.
Oh no.
We only had scissors.
Oh, that's a nightmare.
And Christina is watching.
Hi Christina. I have been brave. I have sewn with velvet before, but it wasn't anything. Well, it was kind of important, but it was mostly Kaylee's Halloween costumes, so they're pretty forgiving. I mean, it's dark, right, when they go out trick-or-treating, so...
Not anymore.
I only wear it once. So, this is the pattern. All your pieces... I don't need 5, I do need 4, which is the back. I think the bit I started, there's only 2 sheets in here. I started laying out my piecing against piece 7, which is the front, which is right here.
You need to get a bigger table.
Yeah, I actually had to do it on the floor. The other thing, so one of the things I will definitely do, because I want to be able to use this pattern again, is I will actually trace out my pattern onto some thicker paper, onto some, you can get pattern paper that you can trace it out onto, so you don't actually have to cut into your pattern, because I want to have the option of making different sizes if I want to.
Your Sarah asks, is this going to be like a hippie coat?
Yeah, totally a hippie coat.
And Christine says the pattern looks nice and easy. Yeah. Not too many parts, but I'm intrigued to see how you managed to quilt it.
Exactly. So, this is what I have started to put together. So, I've decided I'm basically going to make up pieces to fit. So, I'm going to do the patchwork to fit my pattern piece. So, obviously, I'm going to have some hexes. Depending on, actually I think I might go for either small or medium. I'll have to measure them out to see which ones I want.
Your mum is watching and she says child of the 70s.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I've wanted a quilted coat for a while, and actually I've seen some posts where people take already made quilts. So take ready-made quilts and use them just like yardage, basically. So you take your ready-made quilt, lay it out, and lay your pattern pieces on top and just cut it where you want it to be, basically. Now, a lot of people say, oh, you can possibly do that to a quilt. But I'm of the mind, most of my quilts sit up in the airing cupboard. So if there was a quilt that I thought would be perfect for this, that I had that, you know, I could use, I wouldn't be afraid to cut into it and make it into a coat, because I'd use a coat more than I would see the quilt. So I think go for it. Enjoy it. It's there to be enjoyed.
Diamond says she has been making crumb blocks for the last 2 years.
Oh.
And was planning on using those, but I think I would need a bit more stability. 10-inch blocks. So would have to join them.
Yes, you would need to join them. So mine are just hand pieced, these ones. And I'm gonna leave them as is because I'm going to quilt them. So.
And Christine says it's going to look fantastic. Especially with the colors you have chosen. Yeah. And Kirsty is watching.
Oh, hi Kirsty. Yeah, I'm quite excited about this one actually. Like I said, I've got enough hexes plus a little bit more to make up the first front panel. But I will have to make some more of these flower hexagons for the sleeves and the back and for the rest of the front part. So it will take me a little while because these are all hand done. So I'll have to be stitching hexes for a little while. But that's how I am planning it. So I'm just laying out my patchwork on top of my pattern piece and just making sure that it overlaps where it needs to overlap. And I'm also placing the colours where I want. So I've already made a plan of what's coming next, basically, colour-wise. And then there's some little gaps that I need to fill in, which I'll probably do half flower hexes. So one of these but in half, basically, because you don't need to do the whole thing because you're going to cut it. And there might be some spots where I'll be able to cut half of them off from the bottom if they overlap, and I might be able to reuse that one somewhere else as well.
Karen says she's amazed that the cats haven't come running. When I had a cat, he could be fast asleep, but as soon as I opened a paper pattern, he would come running and jump all over it. Yeah,
well, Link's already had his fix this week because I had it laid out already on the floor and he was all over it. And he was all over it a minute ago.
And she also adds wearable art, great idea. And yours, Sarah, says can't wait to see it finished.
Yeah, I am quite excited about this. So that's how I'm doing the hexes. Now for the other side, I thought I would do something quite, well, simpler, but wearable as well. So I've got this lovely Dashwood Studio fabric. I love. So what I think I'm going to do with this is do squares of patchwork. So I've got the coordinating fabrics here. And what I'm going to do is the same idea.
I like the owl.
The owl, yeah, I like it. Oh, I think the owl is repeated as well. So you get in 1 meter of fabric, this is just over a meter, you get at least 2 or so of each panel. This one I think is a bit cut off. You've only got one of him. But yeah, there's so many that you can use. So what I'm going to do is cut out these squares and then add some of this in between.
Katie says, would make a fab gilet, is that
Ooh,
it?
Yes.
With your jumper and the coat behind you.
Oh, yes. Oh, that would be nice.
And Tina says, I've always wanted to make a tapestry material coat. Might try that.
Oh, yes.
And your Sarah is loving it. And Terry said, I was taught to iron the pattern pieces as the creases can distort the size and fit.
Yes. Oh, yes. Yes. I forgot to mention that because that's something I do actually have my iron on for that reason.
And Annette asks, is the coat going to be reversible?
Yes. So it's going to be hexes on one side, and then these obviously patchwork squares on the other side. So I'm going to make my patchwork for both sides how I want them, so that I sort of place where I want. And then once I've got my patchwork done, I'm going to layer it up and quilt each piece individually. And then I'm going to cut the pattern pieces out of these, my quilted panels basically. So I should have quilted pieces, so it will be 1, 4, 6 plus pockets. Yeah, so 6 pieces plus pockets for the 2 backs, the 2 fronts and the 2 sleeves. Quilted pieces. And then I can sew them all together to make the coat. And then I thought I was going to use this, but I'm thinking I'm going to use this. I haven't decided yet, but binding all of the edges, so that all the raw edges around the outside I'm going to do bias binding. And for the side that has this patchwork, I'm going to make all of my seams be on this side, and then I'm going to cover those seams with bias binding as well, so that the seams and the raw edges will all be hidden, and then there'll be a feature because the bias binding will be, I'll probably make the bias binding out of this for that part.
Lori says she likes dashwood fabric. I have some in her stash to decide what to do with. Love your patchwork. Should be beautiful.
Yeah. Well, I thought I'd just pick something that, you know, sometimes you see fabrics and you're like, I don't know what I could make with that, but I really, really love the fabric. And yeah, I thought it'd be perfect. Christine says, somewhere I have a book with quilting clothes to make. There are photos of children clothes and adults with coats and jackets. The book was printed in 1970. Mm-hmm. Most of the men have long beards. And the ladies have long hair and very hippie clothing. So you'd fit in. You'd fit right in, Michael. And Diamond says, if I realized Gillet, it was French. Yes, I do. I will wash my mouth out with soap at the conclusion of this. Oh! Lost my eye. Well, the English version is body warmer. Which is so much better. When I was growing up, we always called it a body warmer. As it should be. Yeah. But yeah, so I've got my iron. It should be on. Well, you just dropped it, so it's probably broken. Sue says... Did you? I haven't even... Oh, no, because it's... Sue says, I have the collections. It's gorgeous. I don't know what to do with mine. And here is the link. Speak of the devil. Oh, there we go. It just was too low. It was turned off low. So let it warm up. So you want it really, really low. Christine says she loves the bird fabric. Do you sell it? Yes. So I've got all of these. It is called, it's Dashwood Studio, but if you search for it, it is the Aviary collection. There's the link. And I've got these, the panel fabric, well, it's called panel fabric, but it's sold in yardage, and this is just over $1 meter to get all of the different patterns. And Judith, late joining, sorry. Are we going to see the progress of this price as you do it, please? I'm intrigued. Yes, that's the idea of this. It might not be every week because I've got to do a lot of hexy sewing. But once I've got I'll probably just do the hexy sewing sort of off camera. But I will do some sewing. I'll probably make a plan of what I want to sew and then show you how I'm putting it together for this part next week, because this part will be a lot quicker to get done, basically. And actually, if you wanted to, you don't even have to add the extra fabrics in. I think this one would be stunning just as is, because it already looks like patchwork. But I just wanted to add a little bit of, space out the birds a little bit. Add a little bit of something. But yes, so let me see how this is now. Oh yeah, it's nice and cool. Could be a little bit warmer even. There we go. So what I would normally do with a paper pattern, which probably isn't the right way, is I would actually just cut out the size I wanted, and then I would iron my paper pieces, but I kind of want to make more of this. There we go. So definitely iron it on low, dry and low, and it just makes it nice and smooth, so much easier to work with. There we go. So I will do that when I get around to Careful, you have it up against the... Yeah, it's on low. Okay, well, I'm just... Didn't want it to start burning the edges. There we go. Safety first. It's on low. So So yes, I will trace out the pattern that I want, the size that I want, and make my own sort of paper pattern, and then use that as a template for how I want to put everything out.
And Terry says, was a teenager in the 70s. We made patchwork skirts from remnants of different fabrics.
Yeah, see, it was, I think I've told this story before. It was a dress, because I kind of grew up in the 70s, late 70s.
You didn't.
You were more 70s than I was. So.
I grew up in the 70s.
I remember the late 70s, like 79.
Okay, fair enough.
Most of the 80s, but yeah, 79. But I had a Holly Hobby dress, and the bottom of it, the skirt of it, was fake patchwork. So kind of like this, but Holly Hobby pattern. And that's what made me want to learn patchwork. I loved that dress. That was my favourite dress. What are you doing to him?
Nothing. Tina asks, so would there be anything in between the reversible sides?
Yes, so I will.
And Christine says she got married in 71.
Nice. My mum, I'll have to ask her. I think she'll let me. I'll have to post a picture of Mum and Dad on their wedding day. Mum, I don't think well, maybe somebody else has done it. She's the only person I know that got married in a mini dress, and it was the late 60s. So, yeah. I always thought my mum was like way cool, because my mum got married in a mini dress. But yes, what's going to go in between is the bamboo, 50% bamboo, 50% cotton wadding that's in this. And you can see how drapey and soft this quilt is. So it's going to be a nice, snuggly, look how nice that's going to fold over that collar, that waterfall collar. It's going to be a nice drapey fold over. We'll be using that. And then what I was thinking for quilting, so I'm probably going to quilt it on the long arm machine. How I'm going to do it, I don't know entirely yet, because it will have to be basted out. But I'll get around that. And then I thought I would use, but this is open to suggestion from anybody else who thinks different. But I've got one pattern that is swifts. So I thought I would quilt it in swifts.
Terry says, I made Holly Hobby dresses for my eldest daughter. Dawn says, wow, fabulous. And Carol says, have you tried Swedish tracing paper to copy your pattern?
Ooh.
Thin enough to see through, but doesn't tear as easily as tissue paper.
Ooh, I might have to have a look at that. The one I've got, I haven't actually tried it yet, but I bought it to trace some patterns out of a Japanese pattern book.
And your mother says she consents.
Yeah.
Annette says she got married at 16 in 1977. And Karen says, I've been saving salvages from fabric. Hopefully one day I could have a salvage dress.
Oh, that would be nice.
And Dawn also says, I got married in 1977 too.
Oh.
And Judith says, me too, I got married in a mini dress.
Oh, yay.
Made by herself.
Oh, wow. Okay, so we've definitely got to see pictures of that. I'll post a picture of Mum and Dad.
And Kate said, I was married in 1972. That was when I was born.
Yeah.
And wore a long brown velvet smock dress with flowers in her hair.
Nice, nice. I remember having party dresses. This would have been late 70s as well. Long, really long party dresses, long sleeves, and then a white bib part with lacy around it. I remember that being.
And Terry says we married in 74.
Just before me? Well, just before I was born. I was born then. Blink. So yeah, so I'm excited for this. What time is it? We've got time to gas away. But I'll keep posting updates on progress, as well as showing you. I won't skip ahead, so anything that involves cutting out, quilting, anything like that, then I will do on a Friday. Obviously the quilting, long arm quilting, I'll have to do during the week, so you can see once it's all done. Once it's all sandwiched together, I'll show you the cutting out, and then the sewing together part I'll only do on a Friday, so you can see the whole progress.
Jackie says she was married on Valentine's Day, 1970. And Lori says she was married in 1977, also aged 21.
77 was a popular year.
Yep, that was right before Paul Mahler came to the Brewers.
76 would have been the year of the heat wave. That would have been the year before.
It was also the blizzard in Chicago. 76 was the blizzard.
Yink, what are you doing? He's enjoying the light. You're always fascinated with that. Are you satisfied now? Are you happy? Do you know what it's all about now? Yeah. So yes, I'm excited. It's gonna, like I said, it's going to take me a little while to get the hexes done, but I've got all the fabric for this. He has been, I tell you what, I've been working from home today, and I swear, I don't know whether it's better to homeschool a 3-year-old or whatever, or have a cat, because he's been so needy. Every time I've sat down, Michael can attest to this because I sent him pictures. Every time I sat down, no matter where it was, he was there on my knee. Weren't you? And he's been wanting me to play fetch with him. Why are you so needy today? Cats aren't supposed to be needy.
Christine says, could you bind the edges of the seams before you sew them together?
You could, but then you'd still be a little bit flappy. So what you could do is you could sew them together and then bind it, and they'd be raised. If you'd still have a bound edge, and they'd be raised. The way I'm thinking of doing it is, so for instance, say this is my seam. I'm planning on pressing it open, and then taking my bias strip, which this isn't a bias strip, but we'll pretend it is. So opening this up and taking my bias strip and folding it over so that the raw edge is on the inside, just like a normal bias strip rather than doing a quilting bias strip, and then laying it over the top so it's quite wide, and then sewing it down so that it's actually quite a feature. So that all of my raw edges are encompassed in it, and then I'm pressed it open so it's nice and flat. And what I'll probably do is machine sew the binding on so that it adds a little bit more security. We'll see. I might just hand sew it. I haven't decided yet, because if I machine sew it, that's gonna, yeah, I'll see what it looks like. I haven't decided, but that's the plan for the seams, for covering them anyway.
Lynn says she was married in 1970, age 20. Annette says Link is after the birds. And Lori
Yeah.
says she met her husband in June 1976. He was visiting his sisters. Karen says Link is a cutie. She misses her cat.
Aww,
Sandy
yeah.
says I have 3 cats and all want to sit on my knee at once. And Christine says I was thinking you could quilt before binding.
Yes. Yes, so everything will be quilted before it actually gets sewn together. So it will be like as if I've cut them pieces from a pre-made quilt, if that makes sense.
And Kirsty says one of her cats is obsessed with anything plastic.
Yes.
She always needs to chew anything new.
Yes.
You have to get rid of any plastic packaging straight away. It's like catnip to her. That is very much Monty.
Monty does that. He has definitely got a thing about plastic.
And he could smell it out. Katie says like a Jules quilted coat.
Jules?
Joules.
Oh, yes. That's what this is. Yes. But it's all going to be patchwork. I'm trying to see. So the seams on this have been finished with looks like a overlocker. And then they've just sewn them down so the edges are all overlocked. Which is another way that you could do it as well. But I just think the binding, because it's going to be reversible, I think it'd be nice to make a feature. Oh, so yeah, this is similar, although they haven't done it exactly how I would, but this part of the collar where they've put some cotton tape down to cover the seams, that's what my bias binding is going to look like over the seams. So it will be over the shoulder, it will be around the armhole, underneath the sleeves, and then also down the middle of the back where all the seams are will be bias binding like this.
Laurie says, could you just overlock the seams?
Yes, you could. So this is what this has done. Or you could also do a narrow binding over it as well, so it would be sticking out like this basically.
And Carol asks, have you thought about Hong Kong seams?
Oh, I don't know about Hong Kong seams. I'm gonna have to see what that is. Oh, explain.
Barbara asks, would you like a puppy for a sleepover?
Oh, oh, her kitty cat Poppy. She's yeah, she's having issues.
Christine says she can't wait to see the beginning and the end of this project.
Yeah.
Jackie says, will you need to cut a size larger to allow for the quilting?
With the wadding that's in it, so it's quite thin really, and I think it's comparable. I mean, it really is. I'll say it's warm, but it's comparable to like a thick fleece basically, which is one of the things that they, where's my pattern? Have you got probably underneath? One of the fabrics, or board wool, one of the fabrics that they recommend. So it's, the thickness of this quilted is pretty similar to the fabrics that they recommend. So I'm not going to cut it any bigger, because I think it'll be fine, basically. The only thing I'll have to make sure is the measurements are correct first time around. But that's the thing, because it's a quilt, I don't want it to be too, I didn't really want it to be too big, but I think if it's a little bit bigger, or it doesn't quite fit, I think it's going to be forgiving anyway, because it's a quilted coat, and I think it's going to look great.
Sue also says one of her rag dolls too eats anything plastic, crisp bags, cling film, carrier bags. Drives us crazy.
Yes, carrier bag, yeah. And the posher the better. Like if we had a Harrods carrier bag, which we never have, but if we did, he'd be all over it.
Diane says, sorry, very late tonight. Hong Kong seams or a flat fell seams?
Oh, I'm definitely going to have to Google that. Hong Kong seams.
Tina says, I think I'm going to patchwork diamonds.
Ooh, that'd be nice.
Having seen your coat like another French word, peridot, Peridot, P-E-R-I-D-O-T.
Yeah.
Karen says, I think binding the seams will look much nicer than overlocking.
Yeah.
And Christine says the silk binding will look nice, especially if the coat is reversible.
Yes, that would be nice. I just thought if I use this, it would blend, well, it would be a feature, but it would also go with the rest of the colours, because it's part of the collection, so yeah, we'll see. So that's the beginning. Hopefully some of you will join me on this little journey, and yeah, we'll do it all together. So that's it. We'll see how far I get in from next week. I'll probably start doing this part of the patchwork for next week, so I can show you how I'm doing it.
Carol says Hong Kong seams use bias tape wrapped around the raw edges of the seam, and then it's stitched in the ditch to hold it down. There are plenty of video tutorials on YouTube.
I'll have a look.
And Christine says she loved all the fabric this week.
Oh, thank you. So yeah, so that's that. So hopefully that was interesting. We're a little bit early, but we'll make up for it next week, I'm sure. So enjoy. If you haven't got a pattern and you do want to do it with me, yeah, get a pattern that you like for next week, and we can start doing it together. So Have a good weekend. Enjoy. Thanks for joining us. And I'll see you next week. Bye.
Good night, all.